Beyond borders, this is CNN.
This is CNN Breaking News.
You're watching a special edition of World Report. I'm Zane Vergie. Fears that hundreds of people are dead after Haiti's most powerful earthquake in more than 200 years. Families are scrambling for information, but with the power out and communication lines damaged, that is proving very difficult.
All right, some tourists in Alaska capturing the raw power of Mother Nature. Check this out.
A balcony shows the mudslide flowing through the town center, overturning cars on its way. One person is reportedly missing. Officials also said a small river close to the village had broken its banks, fed by heavy rain.
Now you see all of the damage that we, humans, are causing to our Earth. But do we truly realize the consequences of our actions? We are constantly using nature's natural resources. Since the beginning of time, we have used Earth's elements in order to survive. Fire, water, air, and earth were used by the earliest of cavemen in order to provide themselves with life's necessities, food, water, and shelter. As time went on, and cavemen evolved into the people we are today, our ways of using nature's resources evolved as well. We no longer only use these sources as necessities, and although we may not realize it, many of us take advantage of Mother Earth and are using what little we have left of these natural resources. Did you know that an average of more than 10,000 gallons of water is used and wasted in an American household? But what happens when humanity goes too far and takes advantage of nature for far too long? The human race is living beyond its means. Almost 2/3 of the natural machinery that supports life on Earth is being degraded by human pressure. The wetlands, forests, savanna, coastal fisheries, and other habitats that recycle air, water, and nutrients for all living creatures are being irretrievably damaged. Human activity is putting such a strain on the natural functions of Earth that the ability of the planet's ecosystem to sustain future generations can no longer be taken for granted. Because of human demand for food, fresh water, timber, fiber, and fuel, more land has been claimed for agriculture in the last 60 years than in the 18th and 19th centuries combined. Water withdrawals from lakes and rivers has doubled in the last 40 years. Humans now use between 40% and 50% of all available fresh water running off the land. At least 1/4 of all fish stocks are overharvested. In some areas, the catch is now less than 1/100th of that before industrial fishing. If humanity cannot control itself and does not learn to restrict the use of nature's resources, not only will these issues become worse, but sea levels will rise and we will truly experience the consequences of our actions.
In 1992, they measured this amount of melting in Greenland. 10 years later, this is what happened. And here's the melting from 2005. Tony Blair's scientific advisor has said that because of what's happening in Greenland right now, the maps of the world will have to be redrawn. If Greenland broke up and melted, or if half of Greenland and half of West Antarctica broke up and melted, this is what would happen to the sea level in Florida. This is what would happen to San Francisco Bay. A lot of people live in these areas. The Netherlands, one of the low countries, absolutely devastating. The area around Beijing, that's home to tens of millions of people. Even worse, in the area around Shanghai, there are 40 million people. Worse still, Calcutta and to the east, Bangladesh, the area covered includes 60 million people. But this is what would happen to Manhattan.
How do we prevent these consequences from occurring when much of our population does not even realize the damage that they are causing? We must educate our generation in order to make a difference and save our planet. We asked our teachers and the student body where they thought their water came from.
I hope it comes from the spring that it says it does come from, but I'm not sure.
It comes from the faucet.
The faucet.
Faucet. The sink.
From my nearest water supply in New Haven.
From the fountain, water fountain.
I don't know where my water comes from.
Department of Public Works.
Our water comes from, in this area, comes from reservoirs, primarily from all over New England, so from Connecticut. I believe some comes from Massachusetts, and then even from upstate New York. So there's a mixture of different reservoirs that supply the New Haven area.
We also asked them, what would happen to you if there was no clean or drinkable water?
I would die of thirst.
I would die.
Well, that would be really bad. I would have to buy bottled water, and that would cost a lot of money.
We would get sick.
We're all gonna die if my water doesn't come from the spring water.
I'd die from dehydration, and I would stink because I'd be dirty if there was no water.
Die.
I think I would die.
I think it'd be kind of tough. I mean, I can't survive just on soda.
What do you usually do on a daily basis that you think is either damaging or benefiting the environment?
Well, I've stopped drinking bottled water. We've stopped buying bottled water. We've purchased a filter. And we are recycling our water bottles, the individual water bottles. So that, I think, is less plastic in the landfills.
Litter and hairspray. I use a lot of hairspray.
Don't recycle because I'm too lazy to recycle because I feel it's too much.
What do you think about the current environment? Are you satisfied? If not, what are you going to do to change it?
I don't really care. I'm sorry.
You know, I've never really thought about that. I think I in an indirect way, I think about it because I do recycle and I do compost. Am I satisfied with it? I'm from the Caribbean. No, I'm not. I'm not really satisfied with it.
It's just really horrible and ugly, and I really don't appreciate what's happening to this earth right now. But what I can do as a person is just start one at a time, just slow, just recycle, reuse things.
What do you think about some of the environmental issues, such as the water crisis and deforestation?
I'm really confused.
Okay, so my biggest concern about environmental issues, believe it or not, is in China. And I know it sounds weird because I'm not Chinese and I'm not Asian at all, but it's such a big issue that not only does it affect citizens in China, but it affects even tourists. And when I went as a tourist, I remember we couldn't drink anything unless it was from a bottle. And it finally hit me that there's something that needs to be done. And of course that's an issue around the world, but if we but my main concern right now is with the water crisis, and definitely with the pollution involved in it.
Well, I feel that the water crisis, it's something to take seriously because we need water to survive.
And now, some expertise knowledge.
We could stop wasting so much, stop using so much. I watched this video today called Landfill Harmonic. And people went into the landfill and got things like an oil drum and different containers and made instruments out of them. Things that we throw away. So I think that if we would just reduce what we use and maybe fix things instead of buying new things. The more people know, the more they do. And the reason most people don't do is partly because they're oblivious to what needs to be done. So the amount of water that's here is the amount of water that's been here, the amount of water that's going to be here. What we do, unfortunately, is we dirty the water. We use it in such a way that it makes it hard to reuse it and to keep it, maybe I'm not saying this right, to keep it clean. You know,
Yes.
We put pesticides in our water, we put birth control in our water, we put antidepressants in our water. All of these things we can't get out of the water, at least we haven't developed the technology to get them out of the water. And then there's also the aquifers. You know, an aquifer stores water that's been infiltrated from the rainfall, and they don't fill up as fast as we take the water out. So when that happens, it leaves like a big hole in the ground. I mean, not literally a hole, but spaces in between all the rocks, and the ground can cave in. This is a sinkhole. So what we need to do is, again, we need to shut off the faucet when we don't use it. When you're brushing your teeth, don't let the water run. There's low flow toilets, you know, where you push button number 1, you go pee, and number 2, you go number 2, right? There's, I guess, a variety of things that we can do. Why do we need these big McMansions? You know, we need beautiful places to go. So, you know, I envy other cultures besides the United States because they want to live together as big families. You know, not everybody has to have a big house just for 2 people. You know, and we used to be like that many years ago, but nowadays everybody has to, you know, and with the 2 people and the big house, that's more land, more trees that need to be cut down. That's not necessary. I mean, we have a population of about 120,000. We get our water from, you know, the reservoirs in Hamden, technically, right? How many times do you see people throw trash out of their car? That trash goes down into the gutters, which goes straight out to the river, dirtying the water there. Yeah, we definitely have a problem. But I don't know if the water is the biggest problem we have. You know, New Haven has really bad air pollution as well. But yeah, we definitely have a problem. Well, I mean, one of the simplest things is just driving a car. I mean, I myself have to say, okay, only go to the grocery store once a week instead of every night. You know, sometimes I don't know what I want for dinner until that day. But every time you get in the car and you go to the store, that's more gas that you're burning, more CO2 that's going into the environment. Going shopping for things that you don't need. I mean, we do it all the time. In the United States, shopping has become a hobby.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a hobby. I mean, no offense to all you people out there watching me, but it shouldn't be a hobby. Clothes are for wearing, not for, you know, just learn how to crochet. You know, I don't know. We just waste too much, I think.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So now, as you stand by and watch this generation destroy our earth, ask yourself this: what will you do?